One of the horror stories of history is the Black Death, the cataclysmic wave of bubonic plague that swept across Europe in the 14th century, killing as much as a third of the population. What many don't realize is this: the plague never truly disappeared. The same bacterium that caused the medieval pandemic, Yersinia pestis, still exists. It quietly arrived in the western United States in the late 1800s as rats traveled as stowaways aboard ships and has been lurking here ever since. Today, modern medicine has turned the tide for humans. With antibiotics, plague is both treatable and rare. But according to a recent article by Eva Frederick in Texas Parks and Wildlife magazine, link in the description below, the same is not true for wildlife, particularly in the wide-open expanses of the American West, where it remains a deadly threat. Enter the prairie dog. Prairie dogs live in highly social colonies, dense, bustling underground towns known as dog towns. These tight-knit communities, however, are uniquely vulnerable to outbreaks. If a single prairie dog becomes infected, the disease can spread rapidly. Entire colonies can be wiped out in a matter of weeks. We have our image of this happy prairie dog colony. Everybody's barking at each other, they're yelling, they're running around, says Loren Cassin Sackett, an evolutionary biologist and assistant professor at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. If plague comes in a month, the colony could be gone. Sackett has witnessed this devastation firsthand. Yet, in the aftermath of some outbreaks, she noticed something unexpected: survivors. The obvious question was why some prairie dogs survived when so many others didn't. That question led to a deeper genetic investigation. Her research team analyzed DNA from colonies across the West and found a surprising pattern. The survivors weren't just lucky, they shared specific gene variants, alleles, that may enhance their ability to resist the plague. One gene in particular caught researchers' attention. It plays a role in activating T cells, the immune system's frontline defenders. And, in a remarkable twist, it's the same gene variant identified in the DNA of people who survived the Black Death in 14th century London. The discovery opens a fascinating window into both evolutionary biology and conservation science. If plague resistance is written into prairie dog DNA, you'd expect those genes to spread quickly. But that isn't happening, at least not fast enough. Why? Researchers have a few theories. Some plague-resistant individuals may still die before they can reproduce. Others may carry resistance genes that come with trade-offs. It's a pattern seen in human populations, such as the sickle cell trait, which protects against malaria, but causes serious health complications of its own. Another issue: prairie dogs are mobile. They frequently migrate between colonies, and this mixing may dilute genetic resistance across populations. This matters because prairie dogs aren't just another rodent. They're a keystone species, an animal that helps hold an entire ecosystem together. Their burrows provide shelter for burrowing owls and other species. Their grazing patterns shape the landscape, benefiting birds like mountain plovers. And critically endangered black-footed ferrets rely on them as a primary food source. One ferret may consume over 100 prairie dogs a year. So when plague strikes a prairie dog colony, the ripple effects cascade across the prairie. To fight back, scientists have tried controlling the fleas that transmit the bacteria, typically by dusting burrows with insecticide. But the approach is labor-intensive, and fleas are beginning to adapt. Now, the U.S. Geological Survey is testing a more creative solution: a vaccine, cleverly disguised as a peanut butter-flavored bait. Field trials show promise, but delivering it on a scale large enough to protect vast prairie landscapes remains a logistical challenge. Meanwhile, genetic research offers another potential path forward: strategic relocation. If some prairie dog colonies, such as those in parts of Texas, have higher genetic resistance, could individuals be introduced to more vulnerable populations elsewhere? It's conservation guided by genetics, a kind of natural immunization effort that helps nature help itself. Because this isn't just about saving prairie dogs, it's about safeguarding an entire web of life on the prairie. One burrow, one gene, one chirp at a time. Don't stop here. Find out more. Visit the links in the description below for more in-depth information on the stories presented in this video. Or if you are a part of a wildlife organization doing something interesting right now, let us know in the comments.